Hello, hello. How are you all doing? Happy Valentine's Day. For some reason I always say Valentine's Day. How are we doing? It's me here, Camwilson, internet streamer, Twitch reporter. Way to mix those ones around. You know what I'm trying to say. How is everyone? Where are we at? I feel like second week back in streaming. I'm really settled into things. It's Valentine's Day, but I'm not being distracted by that. I got married. I got that love thing in the bag. I've done everything I need to do now. Now I'm just, I can phone the relationship in, really. My light is a bit bright, is it? Oh yeah, let me see if I can turn that down. Is that better? Do I look more normal now? Hello, Regina. How are you? J-Dog, Real Mitchy 93, Zales, Oliver, Bandage Boy. I don't look like Mr. Clean anymore. That's a good sign. Good to have you back, Real Mitchy 93. So we're here, halfway through February. It's all happening. I feel like, how I'm feeling at the moment is, this isn't too exciting, but I have a little, just a small life decision I need to make over the next few days. Can't say what, but I'm feeling a bit nervous. I'm a bit on edge about that. So I'm hoping that we can have a fun, chill one that make me take my mind off things for a couple of hours. Hey Moz6522, waiting for your takeaway. What are you getting? Oh, Regina, you're in Canberra. This is what you're doing for Valentine's Day. Well, it's nice. Thank you for all of you for being my Valentines. It's my pleasure. Oh, Korean, hell yeah. Hello, Kyle. We will be getting some Russell Broadbent content tonight. So what have we got on tonight? We're going to talk, I'm going to give you a take on the convoy to Canberra, which is done now. It's over and done with, really. People have left. I'm going to give you a take why actually, despite the fact that there's a whole bunch of cookers who came across the country, 10,000 or something, why actually it's a good sign about that things are heading in the right direction. So that's going to be my take for tonight. We'll also just check in on some of the cooked content that they were doing. Other than that, we've got a new segment. I'm going to launch it tonight. It is called Journalism Judge, where I get some journalism, look at it, and tell you whether it is. I'll make a ruling. Do we allow it or do we not? Probably burn some industry pathways in the process. Burn some bridges. Mug of Irony, can you explain to a non-Australian what a cooker is? So I'm using it in the context of a conspiracy nutter, but cooker I think is just someone whose brain is cooked. It doesn't necessarily have to be a conspiracy person, although that is how we are using this context. But it's someone whose brains are kind of rotted. So yeah. Before we get onto the stuff. And also I've also got we got a hit on I didn't get a chance to do it last week, but we're gonna do a Ben Roberts-Smith update. We're gonna talk about the internet license before it gets too old, and I've got a scomo cuck update. And we've got some very, very important TikToks we've got to hit before we go. So there will be a check-in on the prime cuck stuff. Indeed. Before I get into the good stuff, just a reminder, if you don't already, please follow me on socials. I'll pop my little link tree in the chat. You can follow me on all the things there. And if you haven't, if you're someone who is on Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to me. It doesn't cost you anything. Kicks me a few dollars. Keeps the lights turned on. Kicks a few dollars to Regina and for everything they do. So yeah. Alrighty, shall we? Sorry, I'm on the green demons tonight. Sorry, I'm not sponsored, but I was just struggling to open it under the table. Alrighty. let us get into the good shit. Here we go. Here is what we are talking about tonight. Is this my last stream as a Walkley nominee? No, not likely. I will also have I'll have next Friday night is the Walkley Awards, so that will be my last. I will either be crowned a Walkley Award winner, or probably more likely I will be just a former nominee. Alrighty, first of all, the things we're gonna just quickly wrap on is that the police in Canberra have moved on. As far as I can tell, almost everyone, or now everyone, has left the campground. The convoy to Canberra, in its existing form, its previous form, is done. 3 people were arrested as police removed a small group of protesters from Exhibition Park in Canberra, Epic Campgrounds, after their booking expired yesterday. Thousands of demonstrators who are in the capital to protest against a range of issues, including COVID-19 vaccine mandates, were camping at the Epic Showground. But they were told last week their booking would expire on Sunday and would not be renewed. ACT Chief Minister Andrew Barr confirmed that campers paid a bulk booking fee of $25,000. Ooh, I wonder who paid that. But said demonstrators must leave the site so it could be prepared for Canberra's pride and joy, the Canberra show. This morning, police played a warning message on a loudspeaker telling the remaining protesters that they must vacate the area. You are currently trespassing and are directed to leave these grounds immediately. Ooh, using a bit of like the legalese against them as well. That sounds familiar to them. Those who choose to remain in Exhibition Park in Canberra may be arrested and charged. The small group who remained at the campground responded on a megaphone, classic of course, asking them to show them documentation. Officers formed a line and moved through the site, dismantling tents and instructing campers to leave. Some protesters who had previously left the area gathered at the gates and along Epic's fence, yelling their support for those who remained outside. Meanwhile, many of the protesters who left Epic moved to the outskirts of Canberra, with between 300 and 400 people to set up at the Cotter campground along the Murrumbidgee River. The police said it went to plan. They moved it on. They're very happy about that. And the unfortunate effect is someone missing in the wake for their son. The Lifeline book fair, which was to raise money for what they do for their helping people who are having suicidal ideation or other issues with mental health. They stopped it from happening, but thankfully Lifeline actually raised a whole lot of money without it, so it's a silver lining. Anyway, so that's the latest. It is the end of the Canberra convoy to Canberra protest that really had ended up happening for about less than 2 weeks. And look, before I get into some of the kind of ridiculous stuff, I just wanted to say the top line is that, understandably, a lot of people, right, were pretty, upset about what was happening, right? Because we're all reasonable. We're sick of the pandemic. We're sick of what's happening. And I'll just put this on the background so you see got a little visual there. So look, we're all seeing what's happening, and we're kind of sick of these people who are, protesting against bullshit. They're stopping us from being able to live our ordinary lives. People in Canberra had them frustrating them. People outside of Canberra have to deal with their bullshit as well when they're protesting in their own towns. We're all sick of it. So and you see this, and also, a little part of us is like, are we gonna have to keep on dealing with this forever? Can't we just, can't people just get vaccinated and go on with their lives? Haven't we dealt with this enough? Haven't we proven time and time again that vaccines work? That lockdowns helped us initially, that all of that masks, are actually helpful, that people aren't doing this because they love it. I mean, we're getting rid of a lot of these restrictions, but they are doing them because we're trying to not die or get sick or get other people we know die or get sick from COVID. So yeah, you could look at all this stuff, these apparently it was 10,000 people who turned up overall at the protests and feel kind of demoralized. But I want to flip that on its head. I'm going to put on my like positive cam hat and tell you actually why you should actually feel good about the sites. Yeah, sorry. The millions of people, I should say, according to them. The 10,000 people, according to people can count. The millions of people, according to people who believe that the entire government is run by pedophiles. This is why, actually, you should look at those crowds of people and feel good. It's because there's actually not that many people there. And I've said this in the past and being like, just so you know, they're a small proportion, these protests are a small proportion of the population. But I actually want to even narrow in this more. If there were 10,000 people there, that is not only a small proportion of the population, but that is a shrinking number of the population. We're seeing that as life goes on, as people have stuff to do, as people realize that actually no, these vaccines aren't killing people, they're actually helping people a lot. As maybe even if they don't believe it, but they see all the COVID restrictions begin to lift, people are actually going on with their day-to-day lives. And we had, look, one thing we should say is that it was in Canberra. So unless you lived in Canberra, only the most like fervent, the true believers are really going to give up at least a weekend, if not a week, to go and protest in Canberra. By the way, a very useless protest because, as Scott Morrison helpfully pointed out, as someone who loves not to take the blame for anything, it's not even like, it's state governments who are doing the mandates technically. Even with all that, like, there's just not that many people there. They are a shrinking part of the population, and we can see from the fact that not a lot of them even went there in the end. Only the most diehard people went there. We can see that they're getting tired of it. They're getting ready to move on with their lives, and hopefully, fingers crossed, just, reintegrating into society. Being like, it's not actually that much of a big deal anymore. Whether they truly believe the science or not, whether they've been vaccinated or not, at least they're not like out there causing discord anymore. So, when the CFMEU protest happened last year in Melbourne, the big one, I was like, this is it. This is the last gasp of the movement. And then there was some pretty big protests afterwards, and so maybe I called it a little bit early. And I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to say that this will be the last protest like this ever. I'm not going to say that we're not going to see potentially bigger protests in cities like Sydney and Melbourne, where they have more people to draw from, where it doesn't take the commitment of going out for like a whole, like a whole weekend. There might be protests that are bigger, that are easier, that are lesser barrier to entry. But I think what is important is we're actually seeing, a change. We're seeing that this movement is like dying out. And the other thing that was part of this as well is that people who were closely following it would have seen that although some of them were very happy, some of the protesters who were staying there were clearly enjoying the fact that they were, enjoying the fact that they were among other like-minded, like, cookers. They would have gone away from this and probably been like pretty disgruntled because, as usual, they didn't actually achieve anything. And also, there was an increasing amount of like discord and conflict and schisms within the community. So we're not seeing like all these people saying that they want to, for instance, vote for Clive Palmer or Craig Kelly or any of the other fledgling political candidates who are hoping to use this. If anything, we're actually seeing factions break out within them. They are deciding that they don't like each other. And the leaders of the movement, by the time that it got time to actually move out last night, and people were talking about, we're going to face off with the police and we're going to stay here, this is, our right, and, show us documentation or whatever. The people who say, you can't, we're here, we're strong, there's many of us, you can't just like move us on, where do they go? they all left because for them, all this stuff, maybe they believe it legitimately, maybe they don't. But they certainly don't want to put themselves in harm's way for this stuff. And the people who were there, who are like, this is the revolution, it's happening now, the world is changing, we are taking over, scomo next, on the guillotine, they were disappointed. This was supposed to be the time when something like big like that happened, and it didn't. And it's never great when people who are disenfranchised further. Some of them may come back to mainstream stuff. Some of them, people might look for more extreme stuff. But at least it didn't give this momentum, this movement, further momentum. It really didn't. Like, it fizzled. It fizzled at the end. They promised that stuff was going to happen, and it didn't. And so because of that, we should actually look at this and be like, God, like, I feel sorry for the people of Canberra who had to deal with it. I feel sorry for all of us who had to see, the posts about people saying they all gave each other tinea and pink eye and all the gross stuff that was happening there, which sound awful. But we can actually look at this and be like, things are getting better. This is actually proof that the last 2 years of seeing these, like, honestly, grifters, deluded people, I should say, convince other people that they have the answers. This is proof that they don't have all the answers. Their answers are running out. And people are starting to, if not see the light, get sick of their shit and move on. And that should be, that's comforting to me. We're not going to see, the freedom movement become, in my opinion, a major political force because they're running out of steam and they can't even keep their shit together anyway. So hopefully, some of these people that we hear about, they're like, the Graham Hoods and the Ricardo Bosi and all those other people, there'll be names that won't be around for much longer. We'll be around much longer than them. With that in mind, should we just check in on some of their latest antics, just quickly? So today, their latest thing was they were hanging their hopes on a high court case.
Just to update people what's going on. Okay. You want to do that? Yeah. We get the high court and the fake seal in the background. What do you reckon?
Yeah, get the fake seal.
Fake seal. We've got solidarity here. We've got all the big guns.
That's
there.
right.
I don't know why they filmed this
a
on a
bit late
potato.
today. We're just getting back together. But anyway, what's the latest?
Well, the people that were meant to be here were here. I just want to say that. A few were scurried and taken here and there because we're in a battle. And we stayed here. And we found 3 mothers up the front here of the courthouse, and these ladies were crying for their children.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Cry again.
The host sounds bored.
It's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Been a long battle, mate.
That has. So we came here, we stood with those 3 mothers, a lot scattered, a lot, made out, even I was some kind of, weird guy taking everyone in the wrong direction. I'm not. I just want to tell you right now, I'm not politically connected.
I'm not weird, just so you know.
God connected like this man. And we sang songs. We sang Amazing Grace over those ladies. There was about 40 of us. And we sang Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. And I wish you were here.
Yeah.
And not getting deserted around everywhere because you missed a moment. But just know this, we stood here, we praised God, sang Old Lang Syne, and we sung that song, Wish You Were Here, with all our heart.
And unfortunately not that much came out of it. Now, there was one good guy, who deserves a bit of a shout out. This is pointed out by a friend, Kaz Ross.
Their stuff.
His name's Rob the Armenian.
Is it all their stuff?
This is I just came
He's
over to
asking,
offer to help.
is that all their stuff?
Thank you very much. Just, is it all stuff goes to this car or which car?
Just FYI, I'm like a legal camper. I book your camper.
This one maybe they don't need.
See, there he is. Actually helping out others. The crazy thing is that this movement, where everyone was talking about how much they're like helping each other out in this sense of community, not that many of them actually do that much stuff for each other. Like, a lot of their sense of helping each other out is quite like self-serving. So to see someone be like, how much are going to help other people like pack up their shit is quite rare. Now, I mean, maybe a little part of me is glad that they actually aren't, helping each other out that much, because that would build a more sustainable movement of cookers. But yeah, I don't know. I'm so glad there's a nice couple. The ones like, this is the thing. The ones who aren't the leaders, the ones who aren't the people who are profiting off it, who are getting a power trip off it, I have a real empathy for them, because I think often they've been sucked into something that they don't know what they mean. Like, they've been misled, they've been sucked into something. And so, when I hear stuff about people getting sick, even like terrible sunburn and pink eye or whatever, I feel a little bit bad about these people who aren't ready and probably in a lot of pain. Speaking of sunburn, so Monica Smith, who is the head of Australia's, I think now biggest anti-vaxxer group, got very sunburned, but she's giving some advice which might be a bit of a silver lining.
Hello everyone, it's Monica Smith here from Reignite Democracy Australia. As you know, the federal election is coming up very soon, and we will be giving you information and instructions on how to make sure your vote counts, because that is what is really important. So the first thing I would like to instruct people to do, if they can, is make sure that you are not registered for postal voting. Now, I don't actually have proof that there...
Oh yeah? You don't have proof?
There is any fraudulent behavior with postal.
Usually that's when you don't have proof. That's kind of where you finish the sentence.
Streamer boy.
Oh, thank you, Big Johnny D, and thank you for following Safe Camp.
Votes. However, I do think there is less possibility of any rigging if we make sure that we all vote in person, if we can. Of course, if you live in the middle of nowhere or you're sick or disabled in any way, then of course I understand that. But if you can, make sure that you're not registered for postal voting, and if you are, make sure you get yourself off that registration so that you can be a part of hopefully disturbing the duopoly that's been controlling our country for 70 years. So
this is great, because one of the things that people are worried about is that a group like Reignite Democracy Australia... Oh, thank you for following Barbaric Unicorn. Nice to have you here. One of the things that people are worried about, right, is that a group like Reignite Democracy Australia, which for all of its many ideological flaws, has actually been much better organized than most other anti-vaxxer organizations. They've already been around longer than them, being around for like a year and a half. They've shown themselves to actually be able to organize things and keep their shit together. So the idea that she is, teaching people who are listening to her how to make the most of the electoral system, to people who believe that we should listen to people who know what they're talking about, who understand the science and have and put their faith in institutions and not like people like this, knowing that they were going to try and take advantage of the electoral system as they're allowed to do, assuming they're not doing anything wrong, it's worrying, right? And isn't it just a sight for a sound for sore ears that Monica, in her attempts to try and mobilize people listening to her, is actually discouraging people from doing probably the most, about the best thing that you can do to actually make sure that someone votes, which is get a postal vote sent to their house that they can fill out and easily send back in, all because she's bought into the bullshit. And I mean, this is the kind of thing that should remind you that Monica and her team and other people there, despite being better organized than some people, still they're hiring their own supply. They believe the bullshit. She legitimately is concerned that that the gremlins at the AUC, the same ones who are out there correcting people on Twitter and blocking them, which by the way is, as we all know, a denial of your fundamental rights as a citizen, blocking you from the electoral system. She's like, not only are they doing that, but they're also, what they're doing is they're sending your vote. They're getting your vote, they're sending you out, making it easy for you to vote, and then they're throwing it out once you vote. Which, by the way, is particularly funny because, like, okay, if you legitimately believe in this, like, you know, conspiracy theory, the AEC is actually trying to get rid of your vote, why would it matter whether it's a postal vote or not? Do you think just by going in there, they're not just gonna, like, in this hypothetical world, just like put your like, you go put your vote in there and they'll just put it straight in the paper shredder? Like, why in this imaginary world that these guys believe in, that postal votes are inherently more vulnerable to this? Anyway, hey, I'm not complaining. If you're encouraging people who are just gonna vote for that, and then I'm not worried if you're making it harder for them to vote. Everyone should vote. They should. But yeah. Now, did people see this? Hi, Ludek1.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
You fucking bogan slut. Get the fuck out of Canberra. Go get a job and find something better to do with your fucking
you done?
What have you done?
Can
you
I please
reversed
have
into
your
me.
license?
Honey, you just reversed into
Asking
me.
for the
I'm
license.
sorry.
We're at
Such
a
an alpha move.
traffic light
Yeah,
and
you
you
can say whatever you want, and you can put whatever you want, sweetheart. The media doesn't care about you.
I'm not talking
They
to
don't
the
care
media.
about you.
Yeah, get a license plate.
What's that? What are you looking for?
Don't you
What
worry.
are you looking for?
Oh,
Did you see that?
maniac.
Yeah, I am. So get the fuck out of Canberra because there are a lot of us.
Good. Maniac. Oh, I'm so sorry, Emma. I'm so sorry. You fucking idiot. You are fucked.
You better probably
The reaction is so good. Oh my god. Well, that was, for people who don't know, you could tell, an interaction between one of the camera cookers and one of the one of the non cooked, one of the equally cooked but non-conspiracy. I mean, I don't know what she believes, but she wanted to pick a fight with an anti-vaxxer. And you know what? No matter who loses, we win. And by the way, I was reading a tweet. I don't have it here. I think it was by Joel Hill, who has a great podcast, who's been following this. So the woman who was the non-conspiracy believer who drove the car into the car, also just happens to be, like, I think she's an OnlyFans creator. She's on social media. Apparently, she's been getting, like, a heap of shit. Like, the anti-vaxxer movement globally is incensed at her. And so they're losing their shit over her, which I love it. You know, there's nothing better than being in their head, living their head rent free. Although, I think the car repairs is probably going to cost some rent. But yeah. Okay, here we go. What I'm going to do next is I want to do a new segment, and it's called Journalism Judge. And what it is I'm going to go through an article, and when I go through this article, I'm going to, at the end, make a judgment based on whether I think it is allowed or not allowed. And I've got, let me see, I've got a soundboard here. I wonder if this will work. Can you hear this?
Hello?
It's a Judge Judy one. I need a gavel sound. Page 2, gavel. Oh, man. Okay. Anyway, we'll do that later. This is the first ever segment of Journalism Judge, where I'm going to judge whether something is a good article or not, whether it should have happened or not. In the process, burning. Yeah, exactly. All rise for Judge Cam. I should have figured this out in advance. Do I have any? No, I don't. Sorry. Let me see if I can pull it up in just the background. Okay. Are we ready? Let's do it. Okay. This is our first article, which is climate warrior Zali Stegel failed to declare 6-figure donation from family trust of a coal investor. climate and integrity crusading independent federal MP Zoe Stegel failed to disclose a 6-figure political donation from the family trust of a multi-millionaire coal investor who is accused of tax fraud for almost 2 years, an audit of her campaign financing has found. And electoral AEC compliance, the AEC are coming up all the time. They're busy. When they're not throwing out postal votes, they're also investigating Zoe Stegel. An AEC compliance review into the Warringah Independence disclosures discovered a $100,000 check from the Kinghorn Family Trust that had not been made public even though it exceeded the disclosure threshold. Kinghorn is the founder of Rams Home Loan, is facing charges over allegedly avoiding more than $30 million in tax and could face up to a decade in jail if found guilty. He has pleaded not guilty. The 80-year-old is a former investor and director of Cascade Coal and Felix Resources, which was sold to China Yanzhou Coal for $3.9 billion in 2009. The AC report, completed last year, found donations exceeding the $13,800 threshold were under-disclosed in the Warringah Independence Limited public returns. The full amount of the Kinghorn donation had been split into 8 separate donations of $12,500 from family members, each of them falling under the minimum amount required to be disclosed. The practice of donation splitting, when payments are divided into smaller amounts so that large payments can be concealed under the threshold, has been widely condemned by transparency advocates and donation reform campaigns such as Get Up, a strong supporter of Ms. Stegel. Ms. Stegel has been among the loudest voices in the federal parliament calling for political donation reform, but the audit found discrepancies in record keeping, provided investigators with the 8 donation receipts for the $100 foundation. Okay, so I'm going to actually put it to the group poll. You know what I'm going to say? We're all the journalism judge here. Is the Zoe article a good article? Yes or no? Please weigh in. There we go. What else have I missed in this? She was not under a legal obligation to detail individual donations above the threshold in her electoral return, since they provided in Warringah. But she personally disclosed the donation following the AEC audit. Here's what she said. These donations are from a number of members of a family who nearly all live in Warringah. If you ruled out taking donations from anyone who has invested in coal at one time or another, you pretty much rule out everyone, as most people have through their superannuation. She did not respond to queries about the non-disclosure of the donations by the limited company when she learned of the AEC warning. Mr. Kinghorn said he did not wish to discuss the donation, and then some more details about the thing. So the votes initially are in. We've got it's a it's called a jury, dumbass. No. Because see, a jury implies that we're all, just ordinary people. The audience of this Twitch stream are highly trained, some of the finest minds out there, and so that's why I think you're judges. Also, they do actually in some countries have panels of judges, so just saying, it is a thing. Here's my take, and I hope this doesn't sway the vote, but I think it is a good article because although she did not do something that was illegal, it seems, and once it appears she was made aware of the fact that it should have been disclosed in another way, she changed that. So that that obviously is one aspect of it. The flip side is that this is someone who has campaigned on integrity, campaigned on donation reforms, campaigned on fossil fuel, on reducing our carbon footprints, is taking a big fat check from a company that is from a family that is well known for their fossil fuel donations. And this may not convince anyone to change their minds. But I think it's worth people knowing. And look, the $100,000 donation done by 8 equal from 8 equal contributions from member of the family that was all handed over in one check. I mean, come on. If I'll tell you, like, here's a funny story. Like, when I was back in student politics, by the way, you can when I was back in student politics and we were running for student council, one of my policies that we ran on was that we were going to get rid of campaigning, like person to person, like in-person campaigning in the main area of ANU, right? Because the whole point was that people being pressured, they were pressured into voting. You get ambushed by these stew poll campaigners who would then funnel you in to go where to vote. Didn't actually encourage you to actually talk to anyone. The whole point was just that you just try and convince people, and often, like, not me, but I'm 100% sure that this was done, and I know from hearing people, getting international students being like, no, you just have to go do this now. My idea was, let's stop allowing this in certain areas. So let's leave the main parts of campus. So we ran on that policy, but we still campaigned in those areas because we said that, hey, we'll do it when we get in. We'll change it for everyone. And in fact, we actually did say that 1 hour a day in the most busy time, we would actually leave those areas. So we did put ourselves at a disadvantage. But I remember him being like, well, this is bullshit. If you say that this is a bad thing, if you say that student campaigns should be better than this, then why are you doing it yourselves? And that's exactly the same thing with Zali here, comparing, as a fellow politician to another. If she thinks that if she's talking about, improving integrity in politics, if she's talking about getting rid of the influence of fossil fuels in politics, if she's talking about, reforming donations, she has to, unfortunately for her, hold herself to a higher standards. And it's not unfair to hold her to a high standard when she is presenting herself as someone who wants to change this for the better. And if she doesn't want to, she can still say, hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing whatever. I'm using the loopholes that are available. And she can say that. But there's no reason why I don't think people should know that the way that's being done. So that's why I think this stuff is worth knowing. Now, look, there's also people being like, well, it's a drop from, the libs, and, Rob Harris is well known for, having good sources in the government, so it wouldn't be surprising, but, you never know. Like, these disclosures were made quite a long time ago, and they were amended, so he could have found it just through public records. I'm not going to suppose where he found it, but the other thing is, like, if it doesn't matter where you get information from, scoops, leaks, tips come from weird places, and to some extent, journalists do need to, be discerning and understand if they're being used. But ultimately, they need to decide if it's a true fact, if it has some relevance to the public square, this person's role in public life. That ultimately is kind of the most important thing, no matter where it comes from, and you want to make sure you present it in a fair way. But I don't think people should be turning down scoops depending where they come from. But it appears that the people have voted. The journalism judges here have decided, and as a result, we've decided that it is not a good decision, despite what I think. So, oh my god. Whoops. Where's my gavel sound effect? Here we go. There we go. Decision made. Oh, look at all these gavels. All right. The first ruling of journalism judges made by this Twitch channel is that they don't like it. All right. We accept it. All right. The second, yeah, it wasn't a good sound effect, was it? Let's see if this is better. Hold up with this one. Wait, no, this one. Here we go. Great. You heard that? That's a good one. Okay. we will hear the, oh my god, it's still going. We will hear the second story on the bill for today, and that is from the Daily Mail. Exclusive. Grace Tame deletes social media picture showing her posing next to a giant bong. As the ex-Australian of the Year is criticised by Scott Morrison's wife Jenny for lacking manners. The Instagram picture from 2014 shows Grace Tame with a very large bong. The 27-year-old posted the photo along with a small green weed symbol. Ooh, I don't know. The evidence is adding up. The 2021 Australian of the Year was criticised by the PM. Scott Morrison's wife, Jenny Morrison, said she was disappointed at Miss Tame's side-eye. Miss Tame gave an explosive speech to the National Press Club last week. Okay. An old photo of Grace Tame sitting on a couch with a large bong has resurfaced. Oh, hey, thanks for following. Asked me for it, 44. Has resurfaced just as the Australian of the Year was criticised by the Prime Minister's wife for having poor manners. In a 2014, yes, 2014, so 8 years ago, Instagram photo, a 19-year-old Miss Tame is seen sitting on a lounge with a friend, smiling with her eyes closed as she plays on her phone. She looks really happy, don't you think? I wish I was that happy. The 2021 Australian of the Year appears to be holding a bong, a water pipe used for smoking cannabis, upright with her left foot. I'm glad they defined it for me, because I wouldn't have known. I'm very pure, so it's news to me. Miss Tame accompanied the post with a green plant symbol. She's sitting next to a man who's rolling a cigarette with the green substance spread out on a vinyl record. The image from Miss Tame's youth was seized upon by her critics on Monday, who found it buried in her Instagram feed. Australian of the Year, one person posted next to the 8-year-old picture. The post was swiftly deleted by Miss Tame, now 27, on Monday morning after questions from the Daily Mail Australia about the image. It is not suggested Miss Tame used the bong, only that it sat on the couch in front of her in the picture. Totally, man. Totally. Yeah. No one believes that. Blah, 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 other bullshit. Blah, 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 blah. So, what does the, I'm putting it to, let me first hit my gavel so we call, the journalism judges into session. What do people think? Is the Grace Tame bong story good? Yes? No, I'll say good journalism, just to be clearer. Do we think that this is something that should be winning a Walkley? Look, you know, let's go through the pros first. We'll try and be balanced. Well, on the pro side, it appears to be true. It's false. They went to Grace, so I mean, look, that's that's good journalism. You know, you find an idea, you find a fact, and you put it to the person to see if they want to, say that it's not correct. They can refute it. You gave them an opportunity. This is something about a powerful person, Grace Tame, as we can see, very powerful. Look at the energy. She looks extremely powerful there. She looks so happy. Oh, I want to feel like that. As the big Johnny D says, weed bad. So that's the pros. I mean, and I'll give another pro. It appears, I mean, look, the person used full sentences. I couldn't see any spelling errors. I don't think they didn't platform any racists. That's more than some people can say. I mean, look, those are all pros. On the cons, it's a fucking hit job. Who fucking cares? I mean, actually, I mean, this is cool. I think Grace looks cool as hell. It's muckraking on just what seemingly a really lovely person. It's feeding into this narrative of people who are trying to undermine this child sex abuse survivor but not obviously not defined by that, but a young, powerful activist who's managing to move national conversations and is trying to paint her in a negative light. I mean, of course it is. So those are the negatives. So I don't know. Spelling on one hand, or on the other hand, absolutely trying to besmirch someone shamelessly. Yeah, it does ruin. Oh, look, okay. Well, it looks like the judge's jury has made their mind up, and let me sound the gavel again. We have made the decision. 11 votes to 2. The Grace Tame Bong story is not good journalism. Very sad. Very sad for... Well, who's the author? Very sad for Michael Pickering. I'm sure he could have used that for his Walkways show reel. Okay. I'm going to take a very quick break, have a drink, and when we come back... we need to just quickly we gotta do a cuck date on Scott Morrison about his continued cucking, and also I have another thing, which is we need to really quickly do a segment we haven't done in a while called The World Is on Fire. Back in just a second. Hello, how are we all doing? Thank you for bearing with me while I went and nominated myself for Australian of the Year, if you know what I'm saying. Nah, just joking. I don't do that. I'm not that cool. I'm just here with my little green demon. Not sponsored. Just that's what I'm drinking tonight, so you'll know. How are you all doing? Happy Valentine's Day. What a way to spend it as well. With my close friends. I love you all. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's always a lot of fun. Hey, if you haven't already, please let me just quickly do my plugs. Socials. Follow me. I'm on all these things. If you haven't already, join our Discord. It's a lot of fun. And subscribe if you have an Amazon Prime thing. It's it just kicks me and Regina some money. And I don't know. I'll use it for irresponsible things. I still haven't put up my bisexual lights yet. I promise I will do it soon. By the way, should I do more sound effects? Do we like the sound effects? Oh, hey, thank you, Oliver. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think I might get into sound effects. Did we like the journalism judge segment? I think it was good. Okay. I don't have long. I gotta keep this short. Let's power through a few things. Oh, thank you, Leo. And I'm glad to see that you are here and doing well. Putting up with being... although this isn't great because, you know, Leo knows that I got accused of certain things. And I don't know if we should be in a Twitch chat together. So, look, everyone else here is a witness. Everyone else, and you can see my hands were there at all times. You want this to go full morning radio? Oh, there was actually. Can I pull this up? God, I was reading a segment this morning. I was reading about Carl Sandilands this morning, who announced that he and his partner are pregnant. Tegan Canaston. Really happy for them. Really happy for another little, for a little, Kyle to be running around in the world. But there was a part in it. I don't listen to commercial radio. I really don't. And maybe I should. But there's a bit where he said, so Carl Sandilands has announced he and fiance Tegan Canaston are expecting their first child together. The radio host made the announcement on air during the Carl and Jackie O announcement this morning, bringing his fiance as a guest to help break the news as she's 3 months pregnant. And it was a very Sandilands birth announcement with the shock jock announcing he either wants a girl or a little gay son and praising his fiance's big, beautiful, meaty titties since she's become pregnant. I'm assuming that's what the T actress was. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed the way that he talks about his fiance. What a blessing. Best of luck to them and their child. Okay. Quick one. Let's go. Quick ScoMo, cuck date. Just continuing the evidence that he is, in fact, the most cucked PM we've ever had. So people will remember that he did a ukulele thing for 60 minutes because he's trying to do a fluff piece because he's behind in the polls. And he did a song. I've never actually heard of it before, but it's called like Cuba in April or something. And so he played it really badly. Everyone said it sucks, blah, whatever. Then today, the band who did the song came out with this. Like many times before, Dragon is back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. This time it's because Scott Morrison's interpretation of April Sun in Cuba, written by 2 New Zealanders living in Australia about a long ago diplomatic fracas on the other side of the world. It's a cynical move for a politician to co-opt music in an attempt to humanize themselves come election time. Maybe if his trip to Hawaii had not been cut short, he would have learnt the lyrics to the rest of the chorus. Take me where the April sun gonna treat me so right. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty embarrassing that you can't even just like strum on a ukulele out of tune without someone being like, "You suck. You really suck." Yeah, I'm not sure it all went down exactly as he wants. Okay. Real quick. We're going. Don't have much time. A Liberal MP who refused to be vaccinated against COVID-19 has used Parliament to promote the drug not approved for treating the virus. Victorian backbencher Russell Broadbent contracted COVID-19 last month and said he wasn't too worried at the time. My health advice over blah 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 blah. I also had access to ivermectin, which my wife and I both immediately went on as soon as I tested positive. Now that is not how it's supposed to be used, but he's promoting. And also, I should say as well, this is old news, but ivermectin does not actually help with COVID. Oh, thank you so much for resubscribing.
Signe de la main.
Absolutely does not help at all. Oh, and here's another little cuck date from the Prime Minister. Again, the Prime Minister said Australians should seek health advice from medical experts. He can't even just say, just don't do it. Just don't. So, look, I've said this before, but like, unless you actually stamp out extremism or fringe views, what ends up happening is it spreads. It's not surprising that someone like Russell Broadbent, who is an MP you've probably never heard of, he's just an old guy, who's not that, he's not George Christensen, but because you tolerated this stuff, you didn't do something about it, it spread. So now you've got more people creating more stories, which is obviously bad for you as a politician, but also it's a big L for all of us because it's just someone else in a position of power promoting bullshit. That's really sad. So the joke is on us. Okay, what else have we got to do? Okay, we'll do The World is on Fire. We haven't done that in a while, and it's very important that we do. People remember this is our very important climate change segment, if you can. And finally, a final thing before I go. Talk about false advertising.
Oh, the test.
Testing out a 24/7 advertisement.
This is fucking sleeping to me. They're sleeping. They're literally sleeping. Yeah, this is bullshit. This is fuck. Sorry, were you sleeping? Yeah. Oh, you were sleeping because the sign says we never sleep. I'm literally looking at a sign saying we never sleep. I've just caught you sleeping. I'm reporting to the ACC. Oh,
did you catch what he says at the end? I'm reporting you to the ACCC. Oh god. Hey, look, if it was anyone else I might have sympathy, but it was a real estate agent, so I'm not going to hear any complaints here. There were nice ways to end. Thank you all for joining. It's been great. Hey, are Mondays and Fridays working well for everyone? I can't do next Friday because I've got the walkways, and I don't know if they're too far in between, but I'm enjoying it. I think they're good. And maybe I could change Monday to Tuesday, potentially. I don't know. We're flexible. Anyway, great to hang out with you guys. Thanks for your time. Thank you, Little Flick, Big Johnny D, Chloe Vilnies. Oh, you know me. Best headlines in the business. Well, I mean, that's up for a contest. We'll see. Thank you, Oliver, Leo, Regina, Little Flick. I already said Little Flick, didn't I? But twice as well. Thank you, Real Mitch 93. E8, Raider. Who have I missed? There's some other people, I think. I already said Clothilny. Oh, J Dog. I think you missed some others as well. So sorry if you haven't. Who hasn't said? See ya, Kyle. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Yeah. You know, it's look. I don't know. You know, it's a funny day for people, I guess, who are single, or even people away from their partners as well. But you know, I love you all, and yeah, I don't know. It's a funny one. I mean, when I was single, it never really mattered to me, but if it does matter to you, you know, there are people out there who care. It's nice hanging out. Yeah, I don't. Just for the record, I don't love Leo. I do not love Leo. He's a minor, and yeah, no, all I do is I don't even look at him. Oh god, I'm on a list somewhere. It's going into promo. Classic streamer grooming. Hey, wouldn't be the first Twitch streamer to be grooming a teenager. Hey, yo, okay. We're getting into a little bit of naughty areas, so I might just go. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll see you all. Please don't report me. I'll see you all on Friday. Take it easy. Love you all. Bye. Happy Valentine's Day.